Okay, I hope you see my screen now again. So for the first topic here now, it's the business model of DIH. Shall we go further? And I think Arto can introduce this topic. Can you
okay, yeah.
your screen?
So good morning, everyone. I'll share my screen. Let's see if it works. You should be now seeing the presentation view, intro to business models, business model design.
Yes, we can see.
Put that away. Okay. So first topic of today is business models of the DIHs. This is gonna be very quick introduction to business model design, mainly for those who don't yet know what it is. If you already are familiar with the business model design, if you have done it extensively, this is repetition probably for you. But let's go quickly through some things. Normally, this is more like a one-day workshop agenda, so this is quite quick. But what I try to say to you today is that business model creates common language. That's why we need to share the basics. Business model design creates shared understanding on what is the business that we are developing. And we also want to discuss about how DIHs can develop their businesses. We will hear examples of those later on. But now this is the first step is to take some basics. So let's start with the what is business model and what it is not. So business model is not a business plan. This is sometimes misunderstood. People talk about business model and business plan as the same thing, but the business plan is normally it's a lengthy document written for the investors or the funders. So it's written in order that you get funding for your business. It predicts the future, so it's easily quickly outdated because the future changes quite fast, or the predictions of the future change quite fast. It takes a lot of time to do because it's a long document. Easier way to design business is to use business model concept of business model. The most popular is business model canvas. Probably most of you know it. There's also lean canvas. Many also use that or some other tools. But the key thing is that when using a development tool such as business model canvas, we have the same mental mindset, so everybody knows what we talk about, and then the visual tool helps us to kind of speak about the same thing. So it's a communication tool within the team. It helps to create common language. There are certain building blocks that everybody then understands that we need to get these building blocks right in order to make the business work. It's a simplification. It's a single visual diagram. It doesn't cover all, but there's a reason why it's simplified. It's easy to use. It summarizes current hypotheses. You can dig deeper into all the building blocks there are, but it's simpler for the reason. So the business model, and the thing is that if you need to start writing a business plan, good thing is that you start from the business modeling. Try to make the business model viable first so that it works. If you can make it viable, so it seems that you have tested and it seems to work, then you can write a business plan on top of it, but not other way around. It doesn't make much sense to do it other way around. Okay, so, and why we need this common language is that still, even nowadays, when talking about developing business, different people, even within the same company, use different words, have different meanings, talk different language. Someone talks about strategy, somebody's interested in monetization, somebody talks about value creation or capturing value, and somebody, that's a stereotypical view that tech guys don't care about it, but yeah, sometimes it happens. Yeah, but the idea of using some kind of tools, or one tool is the business model canvas, is that there's a common language that everybody understands. So what is the business model? It describes rationale of how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value. It's a visual tool that simplifies, helps to discuss very complex concepts. So in practice, you may know some of the examples. This is probably not the company that you have heard of. Tinitrax is a company that I worked in the past. So I go through the story of Tinitrax that helps you to understand how business model canvas can be used. So the problem that these guys at the Tinitrax knew is that there are many adult people who suffer from tinnitus, which means that you hear the annoying noise at a certain frequency level. And there's no treatment to that or effective treatment to that. They went through a lot of research and found out that there is a way to alleviate this pain. You can do it with the software. Playing kind of a noise that cancels certain frequency level, takes out the frequency level of the voice that you hear. So you kind of train your brain in order not to hear that frequency level. So that was their value proposition. They say that we can make the software that treats tinnitus. They decided first that they sell it through the internet, and they did everything on a mobile CRM. They are not in a direct contact with the customers. The key functions, the key activities that they had: sales and marketing, business development, and software development. Key resources, what they were relying on, was the patents and software. The main costs were created by software development, marketing, and business development. The revenue streams came from the license fees first, then they realized that it didn't work, and they changed it a little bit. And so the idea was that they had their first business model, then they realized that the licensing didn't work, so they had to change things. I'll stop now here. The story goes much further, but I don't have the time to go through the many years of the development. But in a nutshell, they went kind of back and forth. They tried, tested different things on the business model, and tried to figure out what works and what doesn't. They put the hypotheses. All of these are hypotheses. Those are guesses at first. You put some guesses on the canvas, then you go out, get out of the building to validate that if it works or not. If you find out that your guess was wrong, you take it out, you change it, you try again and again and again, and finally you hope that you will find the way it works. So business modeling is it's a search. It's a process of search. It's a process of searching viable business model. You don't, if you know it upfront, if you know that this works, then you don't know, you don't have to go through the whole process. But normally, if we talk about innovative businesses, it's not known beforehand. Okay. And each partner in the ecosystem have their own business model. So the business model canvas, if you use business model canvas, you name the company. The most important thing, or the typical mistake, is that you try to map the business models of several companies on the same canvas. It doesn't work very well in that way. So you need to define what is the company whose business we are thinking of. And today we are talking about digital innovation hubs. So there might be several companies related to, associated to the digital innovation hub. Each of these companies have their own business model, and if the digital innovation hub is its own organization, its own entity, it should have its own business model. So you should see it in this way, that all the companies have their own business models. And if you work together with the other companies, you end up in something like this. So there are many business model canvases here. You can kind of, it's a mental model. Business model canvas can be seen, it's a mental model. So you see the different businesses, how they interact with each other. What is the value that you create for the other company? What do you get from them in return? It's that kind of a, you can change it, that kind of activity. It makes it much more difficult if you look at this kind of a ecosystem view, but it's closer to the truth. If you only make business model for the one company, you see only the small picture. You don't see the whole systemic picture. But in any case, you should be most interested in your own business model, how it works. Okay, how much do I have time? Maybe a little bit left.
You have 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. So let's go quickly through how we do business model design. Business model, it's more like an art than a science, business model design. But you start with, you have some kind of vision for your business. So you start with the vision, and there are many different ways how you can implement the vision. But initially, you don't know what works. So you, as I tried to tell with the Tinitrax case, you have to go through this continuous process of searching viable business model. If you have strong vision, that's basically the only thing that is unchanged. And then you go through the design, testing, learning, feedback loop. So you design something, you can use different tools, business model canvas, value proposition canvas. The goal is that you lay down or you write down your guesses. So you make those explicit. What do we believe? And then you get out and you test those things. Test card is one additional tool from the strategizer, the developer of the business model canvas, that you can use. It makes it more concrete how you do the business model testing. And then you get insights from those tests. So you can use learning card or something more informal. But in any case, you need to think, what did we learn from these experiments that we did? And then basically you almost always go back to the business model design. You have to change something. You need to, you figure out that what we learned, we learned that it doesn't work as such, but we need to make some changes. And then you think what changes you have to make, and you go on. A good way to start business modeling is prototyping. It's creation of new ideas, new alternative prototypes. So you try to concretize the vision of the business on a paper, and you can use official. We have used canvases as big as the wall, or you can use a napkin. It doesn't really matter in the early phase. Whatever you have to kind of write down things. And you need to understand that business modeling, it's not the real life model. It's more like a scale model. It's a simplification. It's a method to write down your management hypotheses, write down the narrative, the story of the business. And then what you have to do, you have to test it in real life. But make a simple, small test. If you try to build everything ready, real life model with all the features from the scratch, and then you test it, it's gonna be probably disastrous. So maybe the last slide, how to get started. Nail the perspective. Name the company. Whose business are you developing? And find the right persons. You need to have those persons who are responsible of the business. It doesn't make much sense if you are developing or designing a business model for someone else, someone who you don't know, thinking that we develop business and then some entrepreneur comes and makes it flourish. It doesn't work like that. You have to have those people who will have the skin in the game involved in this business modeling activity. And where you can start, well, there are basically two main approaches: value driven. What is the value? What are you creating and to whom? Try to understand from the customer perspective, what is the value? What is so-called job to be done that you can help the customer with? Or the other way around, you can start with resource driven. If you are super good at something, you know that you are very good at something, you can start from that. It's your competitive advantage. You can start building business on top of it. And how to do it? If you use Canvas, just write on Post-it notes, make it simple. But never use the Canvas such that you write the Canvas and then you, for example, send it with the email to someone and you don't explain anything. It's not good tool for that. You always need to tell the story. If you have the Post-it notes with a couple of words per note, if you send it to someone and you don't explain it, they will probably misunderstand it. And if you don't know all the answers, it doesn't matter. It's guessing in the first place, and you figure it out when you go out and test it in the field. You need to kind of write down some guesses. You need to discuss those. The first test, first cycle of testing can be within the room that you are developing. Everybody is discussing, criticizing, commenting, and then you make it more concrete, better, and then find out what is the initial model you want to kind of test with the customers or partners or so on. Okay, so this was very quick intro to business model design. If you have any questions, you can write it in the Miro board, and we can check if there are some. Magnus can maybe.
Yes, thank you, Arto, for this introduction. As Arto said, you can have questions or comments and put them in the Miro tool. Next, we will go through two examples of business modeling in DIH networks, and after that we can have more discussion about the questions and comments and maybe experiences you have based on this. But next we have two examples. We have first Katerina Matushkova from Intermac telling about what they have done in this area of business modeling for the DIH, and then after this we have Pirjo Rousu from University of Oulu. Please, Katerina, can you share your screen? And
hello everyone, good morning. Thank you for introducing us into the business model and the theory and the practice. In fact, I'm quite new staff in our company, and my colleague couldn't prepare the very detailed presentation and present it here. So I'm here to present. However, it is quite general. So hopefully you will not be too bored by my presentation, but let's see what you can learn from our kind of, I would say, it's not exactly like a diagram with all the information included, but it's basically covered in a very general manner. So I will start sharing my screen and try to present.
Arto, I think you need to stop sharing so we can see Katarina's presentation. Yeah, now it's up.
I'm trying to put it into the presentation mode, but I have some problem with the okay, I do apologize. I think I will need to show it this way because I have a hang on. I have a desktop which doesn't allow me to get into the button, so it's a bit tricky. Will you be able to see it like this way or not really?
I think it's quite good.
Okay, so let me introduce our company. Actually, as I said, it's rather than a business model, it is the introduction to the business of our company, and basically what I have just seen, the presentation was very valuable. So when I come back to my company, we can alter the way we do it, and I will discuss it with my colleagues who are in charge of business modeling, and we can learn a lot, I guess, from all the information that was just presented. So just to briefly introduce ourselves, we are located in the Czech Republic, in the South Moravian region, and our company is a daughter company of South Moravian Innovation Center. Maybe you have heard about this innovation center, and it is very much associated with developing the regional innovation strategy. So the South Moravian Innovation Center is kind of the ambassador of it, and many other regions in the Czech Republic learned from the lessons. So that was kind of a unique thing that we introduced, and the way we started quite early, we were ambassadors also for innovation ecosystem and also networking among important stakeholders in the South Hungarian region. And just to mention, Brno is the second largest city of the Czech Republic. We're very close to Vienna, about 120 kilometers, and around 100 kilometers from Bratislava, Slovakia. So we are interlinked also in the Central European region. Just to mention, we as daughter company of the South Moravian region have a very specific setup. And at the end of my presentation, you will also see the financing, how it all works. So we are research and innovation center, and we focus especially on advanced manufacturing technologies and digital manufacturing. What I noticed in the presentation that was just presented, that it is very important to detect all the areas that companies cover. So here is a little bit about our networking. So we closely cooperate with Brno University of Technology. It's a rather big university, which is about 9 faculties and almost 20,000 students. And it has a large research infrastructure. So we as Intermac cooperate with them closely. So it's very a big and important partner for us. Then we also cooperate with technology companies, and we provide expert services and solution-specific knowledge, and they can use our infrastructure in Intermac. Just maybe to mention that Intermac is located not exactly in Brno, but just about 10 kilometers outside Brno, so it's almost Brno. And then we closely cooperate with businesses, and we develop kind of set of know-how that they shall follow. I think this would be one of the key aspects to include the business model. So thank you again for the presentation. It was very, very valuable for us. And we do actually focus on helping them to grow and to apply industry 4.0 industry concept, and also to basically include modern technologies and new trends, so that to be more competitive in the market. So Intermac does research and development. It's oriented to applied research especially. It gives a big emphasis on interdisciplinarity, and we are trying to solve specific problems of manufacturing companies. But what was interesting in the presentation, that every time you have to be doing the business model by your own, because then you know your skin and your problems and your strengths. So it's kind of that you can give them some kind of model how to work, like a kind of architecture, what the business model should look like, but they have to do it themselves. It's the best it will work later then. So here are depicted 4 main areas how we support companies. As I mentioned, research and development is very important. We do try to motivate the companies to do applied research and experimental development, and we basically design advanced solutions. We show them the opportunities, the knowledge, and some best cases, I would say, so that they can increase their knowledge, know-how, and look around what's useful for them. And we concentrate on a manufacturing sector. So it's not so much like precise machinery or equipment, but more or less the industrial manufacturing companies. And some of them are not so knowledgeable in terms of research development. Sometimes they have some obstacles. Sometimes they didn't even start to do the business model. So we try to help them to show and open the opportunities and enlighten them, basically. So within the DigiMat program, we organize workshops and conferences, and we also run a long-term project which is called Academy, Intermax Academy, where people can learn, the companies can learn about these specific knowledge-based steps, how to run the company and what's important for them. So business model would be for sure included. Also, we try to attract general audience to us, so we do info days, and one of them is going to be organized this year on the 15th of November, so everyone invited in case you are interested to see what we do more in detail. And the third pillar of our support to companies is test bed, as we learn, as we teach them to learn how we provided workspace for testing and for practical demonstrations of the Industry 4.0 concept, and they can come and see what they can do, so that they don't launch, for instance, their product before they know they are 100% sure they can, it's worth investing. Yeah, so we call it test bed before invest. Yeah, test before invest. And then we also provide in our company shared space and labs, so that whoever does any research, testing, they also can present various technological solutions. They can combine or find cooperation with other companies, because we have quite a few, so they can cooperate between themselves. So this is also very unique possibility. Also, what we offer is the premises for conferences. If, let's say, a small company has a very small amount of employees and they don't have large space, they can come for us and to us and use our premises. So the conferences and workshops could have size of 70 to 80 people. As I spoke about the ecosystem and the innovative ecosystem, South Moravian region is ambassador of it in our country. Here is Intermax interconnection with different stakeholders, companies, and it's growing, of course, but we are rather new company, or relatively new. We were established in 2013. So next year we celebrate 1 decade already, but still we are developing further. So as there was mentioned, that networking is very, very important. As you see, we have lots of events going on during the year, and they are also international. Here you can see the overview of our cooperation. As we know that the companies are always scarce of time, they don't have so much time, for instance, to travel to far away parts of Europe, for instance, like Portugal or Britain, but I mean, the world is interconnected, that's true, but they always ask about close kind of destination where they could learn quite a lot of things. So within our country, this, for instance, Moravian Silesian region, which is special, which focuses on different field than us, but than South Moravian region. But for instance, they have a super computer which can be used for other partners, the ones that you see, like Vysočina region, Zlín region, Pardubice region. So next week we are going to have 3 or 4 partners from this group, and we'll show them what we do, and we want to learn how they basically what they can offer to us, so that we know each other very well, what's going on in innovation and research and development ecosystem. As far as our international experience, as I mentioned, we have close cooperation with Austria, Slovakia, Poland, Germany. For instance, next month, actually in November, we are planning to do a bilateral workshops for Czech and Polish companies. So we provide matchmaking events and also workshops, so that they can get to know each other very well. So we are coordinating this through the EIT digital platform, which you know probably most of you. Or, for instance, last week I visited an event which was organized in Austria. There was some Central European partners, and this was organized through European Enterprise Network. So it was really interesting again to meet all the partners from Bratislava's region, Vienna, Upper Austria, Lower Austria, South Moravian region. And we exchanged contacts, we exchanged knowledge, we detected what's important for us and what we are searching for. And there were also not only companies, but also research institutions, academic institutions, regional authorities. And our newest ties are with Belgium, the Netherlands, and Hungary within the European Digital Innovation Hub, EDIH. And currently we are developing those ties, so this will be possible to present maybe later on how far we advanced. The benefits, the strengths of the service that we provide to our companies. So to sum it up, we are trying to focus on providing infrastructure in terms of know-how, training skills, research development. We try to get to know them, the modern trends, the vision of the modern technology, how it's where it's going. We try to encourage them to test before invest. That's very important, and they know that they can always find a partner because we are internationally connected also through South Moravian Regional Authority, which provides us connection, business connections to all Europe, basically. So, and the most important thing is to support innovations and inspire each other. As I mentioned, I will mention financing of Intermac. So we are trying to stick to this schedule of 1/3 of funding. So the first one is financial resources from South Moravian Regional Authority. It's an important source of money because South Moravian region invests in establishing the South Moravian Innovation Center, and they established us partly in a way to do this service for the companies that I was talking about. Second, third is EU and national grants. We are currently running several projects. Some of them are international, some of them are national, and we also cooperate in our building because our building provides premises for other companies as well. So we cooperate, for instance, with one company which has a lot of their own clients, and we help to be their partners in the projects that they applied. So this is also working very well. And the last third is our financial services from the activities that we do. We do provide some activities for free, but some of them are paid. So that's another source of income for Intermac. So this was briefly like overall set of things that we do and what we provide. But now I see after the presentation I could take all the material and put it into proper categories and try to either work within our company to prepare the business model as it should be, as there is this concept, and also try to help to enlighten our companies, our clients, who probably have some models already, but maybe some of them not yet. So thank you for your attention, and if ever you are traveling to South Moravian region, please let us know. We'll be happy to show you either the South Moravian Innovation Center or our Intermac's premises, and I'm sure we will meet in Bratislava, so we can even talk more. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Katarina. This was very interesting presentation, and although it's not presented as using the canvas, you have very well covered all the areas, I would say. So it was a very good presentation, I think. And if you have questions for Katarina, please put them on, or keep them in mind, or put them on the Miro platform, then we can come back to them after the next presentation by Pirjo Rousu from University of Oulu. Do you have a presentation, Pirjo, that you want to show?
Okay, do I have access?
I hope so.
Sharing my screen here. Okay, this was not the current one. Can you now see what I'm sharing?
Not yet. It's a white screen.
Is it possible to select something that that will allow me to present everything?
I think we saw first we saw a business model canvas. Was that from your screen?
How about now?
No, not yet. At least not on my screen.
Only empty white screen.
I'm trying to share. This is a PDF document, and somehow it do not allow me to share that. Screen. Now. How about now?
Yes.
Now we can see. Yes.
Okay. Sorry. It took some time, but okay. I'm Pirjo Rousu from the University of Oulu, and Oulu University. We are managing and coordinating digital innovation hub called Super IoT, and we have created this business model canvas according to the approach and template, using the template that Arto introduced. So I will shortly go through this our business model canvas, not going through each of the content, but highlighting the key message here. So if we start from this value proposition, so the problems that our customers are facing is in most cases that they need support for implementing the digitalization related development issues, and for solving the problems, we are providing services for them. So there are a number of different kind of services which are listed here. So starting from the digital maturity assessment, or then we are in some cases using a specific tool for finding a partners for our customers to start making a project together with different companies or research organization and that kind of things. What we also serve our customers is we provide expertise for sparring their business plans or planning digitalization projects, and when they start a project, they most probably require some public funding, and we help and give support for them to find appropriate funding as well. So this is the added value that we provide for our customers. And if we move on to this customer section, so our main customers are SMEs and mid-cap companies. We also have some large industrial companies in our network. They need some expertise that our DIH can provide for them. Obviously, all the super IoT companies involved in that network are our customers as well. So I would say a typical customer for us is a company which needs service or support or mentoring in digital optimization of their processes or digital transformation. And then coming to this customer relationship, so we have established cooperation with our member companies, and we in most cases provide them all kind of opportunities to join our innovative projects and provide they solutions for the project or provide opportunity for them to develop their capabilities. And the channels used for approaching our customers, those are quite general. Either it's a direct contact by emails and phones. It might be social media, seminars and workshops. All of those we utilize. And then if we move on to the left side of this business canvas, so the key partners we are cooperating, they are like those companies that belong into our network, and what are the services, or let's say what are their input is that for example, there are IoT companies that have solutions for the IoT problems that our customers need. So we cooperate with these companies, invite them into our projects to have a certain role for solving the problems in question. Also, research organizations, they provide expertise needed in our operations. And the key activities that we do is active internal and external networking and communication. And also we are involved in those development and research and development projects. So our activity in this project is to manage and execute those projects that are running. And what comes to key resources, so I have to admit that currently we have lack of financial support, so we cannot be as proactive as we would like to be, providing all the services and doing all the activities. But all in all, the plan is that we would have full-time people coordinating these all the activities involved. Then if we look at the how we can what is our cost structure, so most of the costs are due to the people making all the activities just described, and some of the costs are coming from the, for example, the shared research infrastructures and equipment and so on. And then how do we then what is the revenue stream? So quite much we rely on public funding. So far we have no any kind of services fees or success fees. So those are more or less something that we provide for our customers free of charge instead. So we are trying to find public funding for our services. So this is very shortly that what we have created, and this is something that I would say requires some update every now and then. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pirjo, and for this presentation of your business model. Now I think I leave floor to Arto to see if there are some questions or comments in the Miro tool, and then we can have some time for discussion if there are comments and questions. Arto, do you?
Yes, okay. Thank you very much for the presentations. It was very interesting to hear real life examples from the digital innovation hubs. I first shortly comment based on my intro on these two presentations. Very different kind of presentation. Both were good in their own way. In the first, you didn't have business model canvas, but you explained nicely what you internally do. What was a little bit unclear to me was what is the relationship between the Digimat, the Digital Innovation Hub, and the entity who is running that. So are these separate business entities, or is it more like a project to you running the Digital Innovation Hub, or how would you see that?
Yes, it's the way you described. We run Digital Innovation Hub, and we have been active in it since 2016. And there was initiative to have more concrete knowledge. That's why we joined the project, which was, I think, launched from Horizon. And we are now also preparing for the European Digital Innovation Hub and the project which is launched already, and we were selected by the European Commission, and shall start 1st of January officially, and we have 3 partners from the Czech Republic. One of them was the university that I was presenting, the Brno Technical University, and then our mother company, South Moravian Region Innovation Center, South Moravian Innovation Center, and then one private company which wants to develop work package concerning communication and marketing. And we closely cooperate with DIH in Ostrava, and currently have quite frequent online calls, and we exchange knowledge, first of all, and second, we also try to coordinate our future cooperation which concerns DIH. They are also part of the European Digital Innovation Hub.
Okay, thank you. And regarding the University of Oulu Super IoT, you built a presentation solely on the business model canvas. It shows that you have think it very thoroughly. The challenge, if you present it in that way, Alex Osterwalder calls it's cognitive suicide. If you show everything, you have the business model canvas full of words, you show it to the viewers, and they start going through on their own. So you are not telling the story anymore, but people are just reading through the canvas. So therefore, it would be better if you just reveal one thing at the time, so you make it like an animation or something. If it's online, if you are in a physical room, you can write it beforehand on the post-it notes and put one post-it note first, tell the story part of that, and then add the second and the third. So it's kind of it's about telling the story of the business, and therefore you want the audience to follow it as you have thought it through beforehand. Also, if you have very much of very many things on a canvas, it might be good that you make the simplified version, so you leave only the most important things on one canvas, and then you have separate slide for you can dig deeper in, for example, customer segments and value propositions. You can use value proposition canvas to dig deeper into those areas, or you can have separate section for the revenue model and cost structure, where you explain in more detail about the kind of financial side of the business. But it's good to have the overall view on one canvas where you can tell the high level story for that. But it was very nice to see that you have kind of thought it very, very thoroughly. So thanks for that. Maybe also about the Super IoT, the question is that is it for you, is it the project that is going on for until the unknown future, until so far as you get funding, the project will be going on, or is it a separate business entity that is there to stay, and they just need to find the funding how to kind of scale up the operation? Sorry, you are muted.
Okay, thanks, Arto. Very good guidance for showing the business canvas. That was very, very nicely said. So, but yes, this Super IoT that is up and running, that this is, I would say, something that we do all the time, and how proactively we are doing these kind of super IoT related things. That is something that I said, in case we had a bit better financing currently, so we might put more effort on that, but still that is something that we will do currently and will continue to do whether we have funding or not.
Okay. And those people who are in charge of Super IoT, do they have dual roles? So they are working also at the University of Oulu and at the same time at Super IoT?
People that are key people working in Super IoT are resources from the University of Oulu, but obviously in case we had better financing, so there would be people, those people could dedicate to these activities. But
Okay.
currently they are doing something else as well.
Okay. Okay, let's see if there are other questions. At least there are 3 questions for Intermac. Asking basically what is the value proposition, revenue model, key resources. Yeah, those 3. So could you still explain a bit more detail? What is your value proposition? Where does the revenue come from, and what are the key resources for Intermac?
To start with the key resources, we from our establishment from the beginning, we were given a task to finance ourselves in the future in a more diversified way. At the beginning, for I think first 2-3 years, it was only subsidized by the regional authority because we were established by them to serve the South Moravian region to implement digital concept and Industry 4.0. So, but it was agreed that later on our financing has to be diversified. Therefore, the aim is to be involved in as many projects which are focused on our key topic, which is digital. And then my colleagues are in charge of taking care of the companies. So we acquired interested companies through different sources. One of them is, for instance, conferences which are organized by South Moravian Regional Authority or by South Moravian Innovation Center. And we also attract them to our events, and sometimes we already we establish also cooperation with already current clients. So basically there's a lot of different sources. There's also a colleague who works on kind of identifying key companies who should and might be interested in us, because they cannot know everything, or they may not attend certain public events. So he is trying to search for them through his own method, and thus the premises that we provide. Either we provide the rent, they can use our space, so they have to pay for it, so that's the revenue. Or let's say they use the test before invest premises, so that's another revenue. This academy which we provide for the whole year, which is very educationally oriented, and you get a certificate at the end. That's another revenue. And also we have some companies which are located in our building, so they also have to provide some revenues and pay, the cost of the building. And sometimes there are also people who just need to come and try to do some research, and it depends on what type of company it is, but usually it is a paid service, so we provide it usually there is a fee for that. So that's the revenue. Then there were two more questions as far as I can't remember the third one. Did you say it was
value proposition?
Could you explain me more? What do you mean the value proposition in more detail, how I can understand it?
You can describe what do you offer for the customers? How do they benefit from your service?
Mm-hmm.
What is your idea how they benefit? They actually only themselves can tell what is the actual benefit for them, but what do you suggest?
Well, when it comes to customers, each of them has different experience, different value proposition. I mean, they sometimes are happy that we, for instance, give them knowledge how to start to implement a digital concept because they don't know how to start. Some of them, they can we have some robots in our company, so they can come and see how it works, so that they have more concrete knowledge. Sometimes they think that we are a supplier of these technologies, but we need to clarify that we are not suppliers. We just show them how to use it and what they can benefit, how they can enhance their business. So that's the key moment, when sometimes they don't know who we are and we need to be clarified. We need to clarify our service, that it's more about awareness, training, education, and also matchmaking. Yeah, they sometimes are happy that we interconnect them with interesting company, which they would for sure be looking for a long time, and we can provide this easily. So this interconnection is important for them. And as I said, the premises that they can come and try and do experiments, because we have staff which is highly knowledgeable. So we have also experts in designing 3D models. There is 3D print that they can use. There is also engineer who can design these industrial cells for test bed for the robotic space, and we either do it for them or they collaborate with us. So that's the technical support, and also the international connection is important for many of them. So, and the last thing to mention, we are focusing on digital, but let's say some companies are not so much industrially oriented, but we can always let them know which institution to contact or which person to contact in South Moravian region if they focus on, let's say, different field. Like recently I was talking to space industry company, and they want to have some specific knowledge, and I was able to interconnect them immediately with the right person in our region.
Okay, so many different kind of value propositions.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's one one last question. Of course, you can write more questions and we can go those through. Can you please describe one good practice implementation of digital innovation for your customer? I think you, from Intermac, you already defined something that you relate to it, but would you like to still clarify a bit more? One good practice implementation.
Okay, so well, I only joined Intermac last month, so it's very difficult for me. But what I observed, for instance, there is a very large company located in Zlín in the Czech Republic, and they are we were establishing this digital manufacturing cell in our building. You can already see it. It was installed in June this year. This cell concerns, it's a combination of the software, robot, and the way the robot can, with the specific software, can design specific items that are made of iron. And this company is now trying to develop with us a virtual manufacturing cell, so that it exists not only physically and we can show and demonstrate everything, but there's also this virtual one which will be planned hopefully next year, and we are now preparing some steps for it. And so this virtual 3D cells, 3D cell manufacturing cell will be able to kind of show and demonstrate more in detail our customers how you can use the robotic, the robots, the cell, the 3D print, and it's very versatile. So this project is still very new, but that's how I observed that we can even collaborate with some companies in order to get some more insight for other companies. But this is very beginning project which we are currently preparing. So if anyone interested, I can get my colleague who can contact the person interested, and we can communicate it in more detail, so that it is maybe more clear, because as I said, I have been with Intermac only since August, so I'm still learning a lot, to be honest.
Okay, thank you. You seem to know already very much. Then same question for University of Oulu Super IoT. Can you please describe one good practice implementation of digital innovation for your customer?
Maybe one thing is that through this kind of matchmaking, where we connect two companies together. We have several examples where one company is looking for technical solutions, some digitalization solution or IoT solution, and then we will find them a partner who has needed technology or solution that they are asking for. So this type of matchmaking is quite typical example where DIH provides added value for our customers. Another thing is that small companies they do not always have, or they quite often have lack of possibilities and to test they solutions and technologies. So we have had kind of projects where we have selected or find a big company who can provide their premises, their facilities, their technology and processes, where the small companies, micro companies can come and test their solutions and technology, make a proof of concept and test that feasibility. So this is two different kind of services we provide, and that brings added value for our customers.
Okay, thank you very much. No more questions, maybe. From the ideas suggestions box, there's a compliment for the University of nicely writing down the archetype of customer and defining it with the need of the customer. So good work. And also comment that the weakness of business model canvas is that it doesn't tackle risks. Yeah, business model canvas lacks the kind of the environment, the business environment, and the risks coming from the business environment. There is additional tool from the strategizer called environment map, if I recall it right. It kind of creates the surrounding of the business model canvas, so outer world around the business that they are developing, and it's a good also visual tool to help you think about different kind of risks. You can use it for that. Also the opportunities coming from the outside world. So business model canvas itself as a standalone tool is not enough to build viable business. You have to have also the broader perspective, but it's a simple tool that gets you started very easily, and it's good for that. It's also good for the communications. So thanks very much for this comment. And then there's comments inviting your partnering DIHs to the DIH Squared network. So click that if you are not yet member of that. But yeah, we have used the time for this slot. I think now, do we have a short break? Let's check out.
Yes.
Yeah, 10 minutes break.
Yes. Well, thank you, Arto and Katarina and Pirjo for this presentations and discussions. And I like also the comment about the risk. You can, for instance, a traditional tool to look at the environment is the Michael Porter's forces, where you look at what kind of competition is out there.
Yeah. Do you mean 5 forces?
Five forces, yes.
5 forces framework. Yeah. Those are the 5 forces and PESTEL, or PEST, or whatever increment of that. Those are the kind of traditional ways to look at the risks.
Okay, thank you. Let's have a 10 minutes break and come back. After the break, we will have two presentations on funding for DIHs, and then a third presentation on collaboration among DIHs. So please be back by 10:40, please. Okay.
The people present today in the web, and also taking into account the experience we had in the Ethiopic, also a better factor. So first of all, I would like to, many of you, of course, know Funding Box, but just a few words of who we are, because not everybody maybe know the scope of our services. Funding Box is a company that was founded as such in the mid 2014, but it comes from a spin-off from another company that has been in the market for more than 30 years. Recently, during I would say the last 8 years, since we established as Funding Box as such, we have been devoted to deal with funding opportunities and managing these funding opportunities, either in consortia such as in Better Factory, where we are managing the open calls, but also in the private market, we provide the services to make the companies able, and as also the DIHs and all the stakeholders to be able to have access to these funds. We have done a tool which is in our Funding Box site to manage and to have access to all the opportunities that are in progress now. So if you go to this microsite, Moneybox, let me do one thing, is that I'm just sharing a part of my screen. I will go into this to this site, but I think that you cannot see it. So I will stop sharing my screen, and I will share the box. Okay, this is the website of Funding Box, and if you go to Moneybox, you can see everything, all the open calls that are now in progress. So I'm going to talk a little bit of some of them right now, but here you have all the information of all the calls, the open calls that are open as of today. So for example, you can see Better Factory here, but there are many others. Okay, so this is one thing that it is interesting to know, that if you want to, after this presentation, to have access to all the information and about each single application and each single open call, you can go there. But here I am showing some numbers about the calls we are managing. We have already distributed more than 100 million euros in equity-free funds, and normally these the support goes up to 200,000 euros. So it's also interesting to know that we have a communities box, that this is also in the website, and where you can see that there is a community for the different verticals, different technologies, and depending on your field of interest, you can access to a given community. For example, if you come from manufacturing cluster, then you would like to access to this community. Or if you are more focused on artificial intelligence, there is a wide number of different verticals that have a community. And in the community, you have all the information about specific opportunities in the specific sector and other information regarding this sector. So the idea of the cascade funding and the idea from the Commission of why they want to do that, you probably know perfectly that actually this cascade funding is because the European Commission gives a grant to a consortium like us in Better Factory. So we have different consortium members, and then we as a consortium, we are committed to distribute a percentage of the funds we receive to third parties, what we call the financial support to third parties. So in the case, for example, of Better Factory, we are talking about 50% of the amount has to be devoted to this financial support distribution. So again, as projects, the financial support can go to consortia like us or to DIHs, SMEs, etc. If you take the example of Better Factory, what the parties we are looking for are SMEs, artists, and technology suppliers. No, this depends on the type of the call. And now, when we are going to take a look at the different opportunities, we will always specify which are the third parties that can be become applicants and be funded. So we also need to understand that the funding and the open calls are there for different objectives. So there are calls that are devoted to the startup acceleration. Other kind is to experiments supporting pilot demonstration. This is the case, for example, of Better Factory. We are focused on knowledge transfer experiments, KTEs. So, and of course, we are going to support, in this case, consortia. But it depends on the type of program or the type of project. It can be pilots or just expressions of interest without funding, or to demonstrate the technology, etc. And also there are other, but yes, these are less calls, but there are other calls that they pretend to integrate more participants to the project. Meaning, for example, in DIH Square, we have a specific call to integrate new DIHs to the project of DIH Square. In this case, to the DIH Square model. That would be a kind of call devoted to that. Okay, and just to finalize this introduction about the cascade funding and how the European Commission is providing funds to third parties. Just these numbers, just to let you know or to show you that we have a very strong experience in managing this kind of funds. And to be so far, we have organized 74 open calls, and we are still in the backlog of 37. These numbers change from day to day because every 6 months there are new calls we apply, and we are lucky because we win a lot of we are in consortia that win a lot of projects. So the main number is that we have already distributed 35 million euros. Okay, so now let's go to move forward to the open calls that are we are involved in, of course, in the, either the management of the call or because we take part in the project that is promoting this open call. And the first one is Stairway, which is a call. Stairway is a project devoted to artificial intelligence. So this call is open until, well, it will be open. Will open in the last quarter of this year, so we can get ready for that. And you have all the information in all of the slides. We will see the same information provided. But if you want to learn more, you can go either to the microsite, or as I said, to the money box, where all these calls. Of course, maybe there is a, for example, this call that is going to open in the fourth quarter is not yet in the website, in the money box, but you can always have the information here. This presentation, of course, I will upload it to the project place so you can find it. So this is devoted. I would like to clarify this. to your ecosystems, because the main, I would say, the main opportunity for DIHs as such is the I would say that there were two, the EDI, the European DIHs that passed, and some of you were already selected. And in DI Square, there is this open call for external DIHs, okay? But in this case, the applicants are low-tech SMEs that might be part of your ecosystem, and they might be interested in applying. It is very typical that for a single applicant, the maximum the amount of fund is 60K, and it's in this case there is a mix of a lump sum and vouchers to get this 60K. But the idea is that you can, or the applicants that are selected, that they can test, validate, and assess the feasibility of the resources, the artificial intelligence resources offered by the project. So the project has developed a certain number of resources, and it's just the idea of this call is to test, validate, and assess this. The second one is Bonds Apps, which is also devoted to artificial intelligence, and it's also related to the definition, in this case, of a use case for the adoption of artificial intelligence. It's also for single applicants, low-tech SMEs, which need to be the end users. It's similar to the previous one, meaning that these applicants, in the end, they are going to have to use and a use case of based on the artificial intelligence resources developed by the project. Here you have until up to 70K per beneficiary. And you also have this information, here. ELISE is another project, and also dealing with artificial intelligence. You will see that there are many open calls we are managing right now that are in the field of the artificial intelligence. And again, it will be open in the fourth quarter, so you can stay tuned. And it's about the development and implementation of the artificial intelligence technology in systems. This one, energy, is something different. You have more than 60K, it's up to 100K, and it will last until November 22. And here is more related to energy. So it's in the field of energy. The following one is change to twin. Some of you might already know it because I think that there are some members from Better Factory that also members in Change to Twin. But here we have only up to 10,000 euros of funding, and it is going to close this call soon on the 30th of September. And here it is about digital twin or digital twinning technology. So, and the idea is that this analysis and this, I would say, technology transfer is of the digital technology developed by the Change to Twin project is used by manufacturing SMEs. So this is an open call that for the clusters that are devoted to manufacturing, you might be interested. You might already know this because it has been circulating for some months, but the only thing is that the deadline is quite soon. So if you have an interest in know more about that, a specific phone call, you can go to again to this website and also to the money box, the funding box, or you can directly contact with me. I will put you in contact with the people who are managing this project. If you remember, some of you, Anka, my colleague Anka, who was in Better Factory from the beginning, she's now the manager of this project. So it would be very easy to talk to her and have maybe more information about if you have any doubts. Better Factory, of course, you know very well this project. There is another project called Smart for All. This is a slightly different project because it is very focused on the on a given geographical area, which is what we call the Southeast Europe region, which is basically is the Balkan Peninsula plus the former Eastern European countries. So you have, apart from Albania, Yugoslavia, Serbia, and all these countries, you also have Slovakia, Bulgaria, Romania, and countries like this. So if you come from one of these, Hungary is also included. So if you come from one of these countries, I mean, in the course we are now promoting, which is FTT and CTT, this one is ending by the 15th of October, so there is still 1 month. And the other one will start right after, in November. These are projects or experiments that imply or involve academia and industry. So if you are a university, for example, or if you are an SME, then you need to make this consortium, and it has to be cross-border. So in the case of FTT, you need one tech provider, one receiver, and CTT the same as in FTT plus one, what they call a productizer, meaning a third company that is going to market the product or improve the product, things like that. So here, the only thing is that the applicants need to be from different countries. So there is a matchmaking tool in place, but you can join between yourself and talk if there is an opportunity. Here, the main objective is to tackle what we call the customary low energy computer. It means that the objective is that the applicants need to propose a solution that makes the energy consumption be reduced using IoT systems and cyber-physical systems. But you can apply these solutions to any kind of sector: transport, agriculture, environment, and if it doesn't fit to any of these three, there is a fourth vertical, which is anything. So basically, all the fields are covered. The next one is Amulet. So again, this is also in the fourth quarter of this year. So we are still early to apply, but you got this information. And here, the idea is that Amulet is devoted to lightweight industry. So, and it consists of projects to demonstrate, demonstration projects. As I said a few minutes ago, you can have different programs or supported activities such as pilots, experiments, demonstration. This is the demonstration project, but the interesting thing is that you can have up to 100,000 K. And of course, each partner can only receive up to 60K. And the consortia, the applicants need to be consortia of 2 or 3 SMEs. And I think this is the last one I'm going to talk about. It's the NGI search. And we are also beforehand because it will be launched in January 2023. And this project is about next generation internet. So it is self-explanatory. And we are looking for individuals, researchers, hackers, startups, SMEs, universities. So any kind of applicants dealing with the next generation internet will be welcome. And there will, of course, there will be consortia of the time, and there will be a funding up to 150K and 60K per partner. And then ShowProCF is another project where the deadline is on the 31st of October. And this is devoted to the development of new components. And the idea is to support humans in their work and improve their working conditions. And it is devoted to SMEs and startups. So there will be more coming, but I would say if you go to Moneybox, you will find all the opportunities that are now in place. Many of you have already applied because I haven't mentioned here, but we have that in the sorry. Here in DIH Square. Many of you have already applied to this core, which is, as I said, the idea is to incorporate DIHs, new DIHs, in this DIH Square network. So, well, you know that Ali in the last meeting in Athens was insisting to all of you to apply because you can get 10,000 euros just for attending meetings of the network, and you don't have to really do a specific job to get this 10,000 euros, and it allows you to be part of a network that now, as of today, we have already 85 members of this DIH Square network, and it's a network basically dealing with robotics and artificial intelligence. And the idea of this network is to be like to gather information, common common decisions from the topics the different DIHs are interested in, and then go to EU robotics and plan and explain to them to show them a common vision of what the network of DIHs in that field, in those fields, pretend or want to do, and it can have an influence in the upcoming calls and topics from the European Commission. So that's all from my side. If you have any questions, we might.
Yes, thank you, Antonio. We do have some time for questions. So please, if you have some questions for Antonio.
Maybe if you don't have any questions, but you have any doubts while you, because I understand that there are so many calls. By the way, I didn't mention I4 Trust because I4 Trust was supposed to be closed last week. As you can see, the deadline was on the 12th of September, so 2 days ago, but it has been extended. And in this call, there is the need of a consortium made up of one DIH and a minimum of 3 SMEs. So this is, I would say, the only open call that involves directly a DIH together with its ecosystem. But I think that there has been a deadline that is not in here, an extension of the deadline. So if you have any question, but if not, if you don't have any questions right now, we can just think calmly, and when you have any question, you can drop me a message, and I will do my best to either to reply to that or to put you in contact with the people who are managing, because of course I'm not managing all these calls.
Okay. Thank you. Maybe we go on, and if we can come back with questions later on. But the next presentation here is by Pekka Jussila from Hermia Business Development, and it is on private funding for DIHs. The floor is yours, Pekka.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I try to share now this screen also. So let's see how it goes. Can you see my slides now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay.
Maybe
I
you
try
can
to
put
put
it
it in this mode, yes.
Yes.
All right. I'm the founder and CEO of the Hermia Business Development Company. And our story started 30 years ago. Tampere University of Technology needed some help to commercialize research results and help new spin-offs coming from the University of Technology. And we make a deal that we, as a private company, we outsource these processes about this commercialization process, and we also work very, very closely with this Science Park, Technology Park, Hermia. We were responsible about this business development services there in Hermia Science Park, and we work quite a lot with these research results, new ideas, new startups, and there's also funding, very essential case. So over the years, I think that we have made something like 850 funding and development projects, maybe something like 510 internationalization projects, 420 new tech starts, and things like that. We also established a private seed capital fund, and we also raised to ourselves and Science Park some private funds, some equity money, which was needed because of the projects. The project needs always good cash and a lot of our money. So this kind of experiences we have, I like to share. And maybe something overall about this idea about private funding. So I see that the more and more we can see business angels, like in this our case, when we were raising funds and when we were raising this seed fund. So quite many private business angels put money in, and many put money in because they just wanted to do something with the money they make when we help them to make the startup, and they get good incomes and they maybe sold their company. So they like to see that they put the money somewhere, good purpose, even not so much looking for the interest of the money, but something good to join join the like wealthy and give it to others also in that way. So there are different kind of course, this kind of funds available, like growth funds, venture capital funds, merger acquisition funds, but more and more also I can see industrial companies as investors. And of course, this crowdfunding is important nowadays. It's growing. Banks are not so anymore only loaning place. There's a lot of this kind of companies who are offering loans, and some of those without guarantee or this kind of things. Insurance companies are also very wealthy. They are big investors, and of course, this public listing is one way to gather new private funds.
Pekka,
And, yes, please.
we are seeing the first slide. Are you share?
First slides, just a moment. Can you see it now?
We don't see the presentation. No, we still see the first not in presentation mode.
Okay, just a moment. How to work it?
Okay.
You see now
Can you make it presentations mode in presentation?
I try now. I try now. What about now?
Not yet. We can see it, but not in presentation mode.
Okay. Interesting. What should be done? What about now? No.
Not yet.
Still the same.
Still the same. I stopped sharing and start again. Sorry. Sorry about this.
Now we see.
All right. Okay. Good. Yes. And maybe go back. Is it possible to see? Let's see. Oh, very interesting. Anyway, so I think quite often we are looking for this kind of investment cases that there have to be something interesting, like shares. We are putting money in, taking shares. There can be also equity loan or convertible equity loans, and those are quite nice tools to get new funding for the activities. Of course, then bank loans are and insurance company loans are something very familiar, and loans from the other sources. Always this loan question is very tricky because of these guarantees for loans. I will show two cases for you just to get the idea what kind of companies we are working with. I don't know if you can see this kind of RV microturbine. This is one case. We are looking for 10 million euros for them. The product is ready now, but they are looking for like a mixture of the private funds. They have taken some public funds already, and now they concentrate the private funds. And the idea is that they don't sell these machines. They build up the machines with this money, this 10 million, and they give this machine to the landfills and different kind of places where biogas is coming. And then they sell electricity and share this money stream coming from this electricity. And now we got loans, 300,000 euros, but it's very tricky with these guarantees nowadays. I'm happy that there is some kind of organization who can help that, but the guarantee is quite a big problem. Now we are raising 1.5 million equity, like the private company sources, and then there is this other batch of loan already available, 1.5 million when the homework is done and the private money is there. And then we raise the rest after this step. So quite often these investments are coming like in these steps, first steps, second steps, and third steps. And quite often nowadays, I think that this is like a mixture of different kind of funds. Even within public funds, and public investments will come as the private money when it's in the shares. But these are quite tricky things in the startup place. Other case I saw very briefly, you can Google it, is the world most advanced hydrogen car. It's called Namex. And now we are raising them 20 million euros to make the prototype. And then they need like a running capital to buy models and start buying services from these assembly companies. And this is also very tricky because there is no own capital so much in the first place. Okay, and then how I can go forward, I don't know now. Let's see. This is stuck. Just a moment. I again. This is somehow not very easy today. Okay, and then about raising funds. What is important? Now I try again. Yes, I think that the good presentation material, of course, is very important, and solid calculations. Of course, this business case and this business idea and the whole business plan with this strategic business objectives have to be there. And quite realistic ideas, business-oriented targets have to be there. And also, investors are very, how I say, experienced to look at the cases. So they like to see that there are these risks also handling. In every business, there is risks, and we have to know them and prepare to handle them. And if they don't see this kind of plans, it's not like a very good things for the investments. But of course, have to know the business, the market, competitors, and keep the company in good shape and relationship with loan lenders and banks to get the money when it's needed. I don't know why this is not taking the next slides. I have to stop it and then try to make the next slides. This is not so good, but now let's see. Yes, and now I try to say again. This is very tricky. Sorry for this. And now again, sharing mode. Visualizes I still have to go. I like to share. Okay, I think that very important thing, I guess, for private investors and funding people is this team. Who are the owners of the company? What is the team made of? How good, how strong is the team? And they see that what is the target, what is the risk, and then they think about the challenge, and they are measuring the team. Can this team make these targets to happen with this kind of money and taking care about these risks? Of course, the market competitors, history and shape of the balance sheet is very important. If there's a large load of loans already, like we had this one company, it was so loaded already that it was impossible to get new funds. So we created the daughter company and started to work with that, and he gets a funding there, and it's like a fresh start. Nowadays, quite many funding tools are looking for those new companies under 5 years old, and this is helping to gathering that. And of course, the return of investments, the gain. What is the target for business-wise? How we can get upside for these shares? How we can sell them? How we get money out if we make the investments for the company? There are different kind of course. Like in our case, there is this kind of very long-term investors. They are not looking for so big money to join. They are interesting to see what is happening, new kind of technologies, and like a gaming little bit with us and our cases. It's like a freshman for them and this kind of adventure. But it's very important that there's this possibility to increase value and make this exit. It's not so easy to find buyers for the shares quite often.
Pekka, can you
Yes.
zoom it a bit smaller so we can see the whole slide?
Yeah, like this way.
Yeah, now
Okay.
it's better. Yeah.
It's better now. Yeah, there's something wrong with this. It's not rolling, but anyway, I can see that the banks are not so risk takers anymore. They used to be much more risk takers some times ago, but now all these kind of regulations are very strict, and they are not taking so much risk at all. And that's why there is now coming new kind of players who can even buy those invoices from the companies and get some guarantee-free loans. And I think it's also something very interesting what is happening. I was in one seminar where a bank manager said that there is almost 100 new kind of competitors Osuuspankki in Tampere is facing and seeing like a threat all over the world. And it's very interesting. But another thing is this is package. I think that making package mix of the fund and then taking step by step, then it's a good way to find the financial targets. And of course now very important is this capability to pay back interest and loans. There have to be good cash flow chart and understanding how to make profit so that we can pay back these funds and the interest. So this is for those. And this is just like this kind of list, what is needed when we are writing this kind of proposal to the investors. And a few words about this, if you are taking an investor in. So this is very important, this shareholders agreement, what is agreed in the company, how it will be managed, and how to get rid of the shares, what are the limitations for the majority owners, and how to secure the minority investors' interest. And this is very interesting. Quite often this kind of agreement to do and execute, and some investors are very strict about that, some are not so bad. And also there have to be, it's like a different play when there are new owners, like strategy decision need to be done together with the investors, not only by the majority owners or management. And of course there have to be this exit strategy, how to get rid of the investors if they are not bringing any added value, they are tired to be there, or they like to just cash out. And it's also something that the value of the company should raise. I feel so that after 3 rounds of investment, the owners and the people who establish the company, they should still have the majority to keep the motivation on. But some investors are very greedy. They like to take majority at once with small money, more value, and they don't bring any so much any extra added value for the whole business. Even they are trying to get with cheap value the big investment of shares. And then I think that this loan is typically easy and simple. When it's paid off, everything is there. And of course, sometimes there are problems to pay back, and then there's a renegotiated things and other things. But this capital investment is like a little bit like a marriage. It's very difficult to get rid of if all parties are not same way thinking, and they have to be together until this exit is done. And this is maybe the key issue of this private funding and putting together different mixes of money from different sources. This is kind of general ideas and experiences of private funding. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pekka. Now again, we have time for questions. Questions for Pekka. Do you have?
Yeah, when maybe.
I don't. Can you raise your hand here, or how does it work in Zoom? Well, if anybody, if you have questions for Pekka, please.
Yes,
open your mic.
Yes, I think that one good practices we have faced in some cases is that these kind of development organizations get some investors and investments like upward, not only money but also like some buildings, ownership of the buildings, like science park office buildings or testing laboratories, which are bringing cash flow. So it's like a valuable asset, and quite often those has been like a public investments from public bodies. But when they are coming into the company, it's like can be used like a private property and private funding and like a cash cow or own capital when they are running projects.
Mm-hmm. Can you give some or tell us something about what kind of pitfalls we need to try to avoid when what are typical mistakes that organizations do?
Yes, this is very important to see what kind of policy those investors or those who are coming in they are doing. What is the policy? Is it like fast growth, fast money, and is it like a passion to make something really? What are their values? And of course nowadays where the money is coming from. It's also important to see where the money is coming from. This is something very important question nowadays if there are private investors.
Okay, Päivi has a raised hand.
Yes, I was thinking that do you see that DIHs could themselves benefit from or have private funding, or is it only for the companies?
I think it's possible. I feel so. I think it's arrangeable so that like a good basement of investment is coming for the organization to run the projects and develop services for the future. And like now, I think that in Finland was quite successful this kind of process that many universities gathered like funds to get new funds in the balance sheet to make some kind of investments and getting interest and making money with this way. And quite the big sums was coming from private people, like organizations who are working with universities and this can develop organizations and associations and industrial associations. I think this kind of activities is possible, and many of those they are just helping. They have money enough to give and make interesting investments, and what is the better place plus DIH, where I think this kind of organizations for this kind of people who had made success and like to see some good things happen with their own money and investments.
Okay.
May I
Okay.
comment on that?
Yes,
Please.
please.
If I understood right, what you were talking about, it's more like a donations to the universities, right? Not the investments where they expect to get return on their investments.
Yes.
So it's a different kind of funding, and I think in that case you need to have either very good reputation or good purpose, so that those people, if they give the donation, they think that it's going to the good cause. So it's very different from the traditional private investment.
Yes, yes, and quite normally there is this kind of name in some kind of wall who are the donators and who can help, and then that's maybe the most important thing. They can see that they put their money there and they now see what is happening, looking for news. But I think that this organization, they are very interesting organization in that way also, because there is alumni coming from the universities, or you can help somebody to make success, and they like to somehow pay back.
Yeah. Good. Thanks for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions for Pekka? If not, I think we are a little bit ahead of schedule, but sorry. Next on our agenda, we would have a short break again, but we are 25 minutes ahead of schedule. But let's have a short break anyway, and then come back a little bit earlier, and we can wrap up the session a little bit before 1 o'clock. After the break, we will have a presentation on pan-European collaboration among DIHs by Päivi Mikkonen. So let's come back in 10 minutes, that is at 11:45, and let's continue then. Will you? Yes, so now next presentation is by Päivi, and Päivi will talk about pan-European collaboration among DIHs. Please,
Yes.
Päivi, go ahead.
I hope you see my screen okay.
We can see it, yes.
Yeah, okay. Good. So you see here another logo, Bowie, which is another project that I'm working on. It's also EU project. In this project, we are especially with the TNO from Holland, working with creating the structural model for interregional innovation collaboration. And we have started to call them corridors. So I will give a short introduction of the thinking. And this is, I have to say right away that this is work in progress. So there is no set model yet. So all ideas and thoughts and questions are very, very much welcome. Okay. How do I go further? Here maybe. Yes. Okay, why is interregional collaboration important? Some very self-explanatory issues. Of course, it gives easy access to different technologies and skills at EU level. It supports and initiates new business opportunities and new markets within the larger community and different regions. We can exchange good practices to support the digital transformation, and we can facilitate cross-border synergies, co-create and complementaries in technology development, so that everybody doesn't need to do the same thing, but we can combine our strengths and our facilities and our knowledge. And of course, create pan-EU value chains to increase the competitiveness and dependency of EU industry. And that is obviously our intention, our core intention, to my opinion. But then there is one thing that is also important to notice, that 1 + 1 is 2. So impact of public funding, so that we can avoid unnecessary duplication in funding. But when we fund issues that are done in collaboration, then we can strengthen our capabilities within one region, in one area of expertise, and another in other area of expertise. But of course, there are pains to this. It's not easy. Limited access to finance nicely ties this presentation to the previous ones. Limited access to finance for EU collaboration, and the priority of capitalizing incidental benefits. We don't necessarily understand the benefits of the collaboration. Why should we do it? And usually it's quite demanding work. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and the return on investment is not always visible. And also, regional stakeholders usually take focus on regional activities, not pan-European activities. There might be information overflow and information asymmetry, so we cannot find our common ground, to say. And then, of course, lack of experience and expertise in creating the collaboration. Okay, now we come to the EDIs. 136 plus something there will be all over Europe. And ideas for these is that they are connected. Katarina quite nicely described some of the collaboration between different EDIs. And all these EDIs have this lighthouse attractor, some specialism. But if they are here and there, how can this lighthouse kind of shed a light to all of these? How can they combine the strengths? So for this, we created this concept of corridors. Here you can see one corridor emphasized. And what is this corridor? It's a collaboration between 2 or more hubs in different geographical areas in which continuous exchange of industrial and research capabilities or capacities take place. So very important here is to understand that this is not only DIHs or EDIs working together, but this is regional collaboration. So we need to take into account all the stakeholders within the region. Okay, then let's take a look at what are they. There is a bi-directional channel between 2 or more regions. So information, people, money, value going back and forth. It is orchestrated and coordinated by DIH or EDI with other regional stakeholders, as I mentioned earlier. The EDIs act as gateway at large in their region. So they are EDIs or DIHs, they are the orchestrators of the regional community. Then very important thing is that they are based on viable business model for structural collaboration. They are connected and aligned or have connected and aligned strategies between regional partners. Now, when you take a look at this, it really sounds quite demanding. To my opinion, it does. I think it does to you also. But we have found a solution to this also. We have differentiated 5 levels of interregional corridor collaborations. IC level 1 is casual. It is ad hoc, it is opportunistic, informal, based on individual contacts and sharing knowledge. Like you meet somebody at some science fair or wherever and discuss. If something comes up, then you kind of build some kind of ad hoc corridor. Level 2, we call it responsive. It has limited preparations to respond. It is reactive, still no kind of preactive cautions taken. It is still informal. It usually is part of an EU project. So when you think of an EU project that you take part, if you have partners there that you don't have any other collaboration with, you can say that you have this IC2 level corridor collaboration at the time, but it stops usually when the project ends. That is one level. Then level 3, IC level 3 is structural. It has basic formalized structures. It is anticipatory in capacity building and planning. It has some proactive industry or research projects. So they are planned together. We know each other, so we know who to contact when we have this and this kind of question, or this we require this and this kind of expertise. And then there is some limited corridor activities. I come to these corridor activities a bit later. But this IC level 3 is already something that you are, is a kind of preactive. It has some preactive things that you do. It's not only reactive. IC level 4 is already managed. It is institutionalized. So we have contracts, for example. We have aligned strategies within regions. Notice this. Regions are taken together here. I would say that IC level 1 and 2, they are more on typical EU collaboration, and the region, for example, regional authorities, they are there if needed, and so on. So only from the level 3, some industry partners or regional partners come in. But in IC level 4, they are already in the network. There is active scouting. EU value chains are formalized, and there are proactive corridor activities. And then we still have one level, IC level 5, which is synchronized. There we have structural participation of regional stakeholders. We have joint funding, synchronization of R&D, maybe synchronized, I forgot the word, investments for research facilities like that. Joint strategies and joint actions are taken. So this is real collaboration, in-depth collaboration. You can all think of your collaborations with different regions and think and on what level you are. Then we have created a reference architecture for these corridors. This is the model that I referred to earlier. So we need to take a look at different perspectives of the collaboration. One is governance, the other one is finance, mission, participation, and culture. And all these need actions. And then we might think that there are different stages to develop these corridors. First, they might be an initiation, where we initiate the collaboration and we come to level IC2. Growth, IC3, maturing, IC4, and consolidating, IC5. So all these 5 different aspects of collaboration need to take into account. But there is one thing that is very, very important now. Level you want to achieve depends on the balance between the efforts and returns. So you always need to think that what is the return on investment that you get from this collaboration. It's not so that everybody needs to drive for level 3, 4, 5. It is depending on what is the return on investment that you are looking for in this collaboration. It might be that level 1 or 2 is enough. So there is no right or wrong. It is only important that you notice that what level is that you are trying to reach here in this collaboration. And one thing that is also very important here is that corridors are about enhancing Project Europe. So this is what we want to do here. We want to make Europe great, not again, because maybe it hasn't been a unanimous area, but we need to compete in a global environment, and we need to be Europe. This is why we need international collaboration, interregional collaboration, and this is why we need Europe. Okay, and to create the sustainable collaboration is not only about the action, it's also about creating a supporting framework. And framework means this, what I just described, and also all the stakeholders, they build the net framework. I still want to show the partners in this BOWI project so that I don't take the credit to myself. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Päivi. Now we have time again for some questions and or comments. Anybody want to comment on? I have one example in mind, what I think could be kind of a corridor, as you described it. For instance, I made some interviews with the regional cluster in Oulu in Finland, northern Finland, and they told that they have a interregional cooperation with Gothenburg area in Sweden, and the motive for this is that in Oulu there's quite a lot of small ICT companies. The Nokia used to be a very big player in Oulu, but after Nokia has stopped making mobile phones, there were quite a lot of highly skilled engineers in the Oulu area, and they have started a lot of new companies. But they needed to find, let's say, a new area for using these skills, and then thought that in Sweden, in Gothenburg area, there's a lot of car making companies, and they found that they had quite a lot of ideas to provide for these companies. So now there's quite intensive cooperation between these two areas in creating new solutions for car industry, ICT solutions. But do we have some questions or comments or other good examples?
I would have a question.
Yes.
This is Johan from LCM Austria. Fabi, thank you very much for the very inspirational presentation. My question is about, the first steps. We already managed to get into an EDIH, so that's quite fine. But it is now about this initiation phase to start some kind of corridor approach, what you said, but also get into the bigger picture. So who is coordinating the bigger picture in terms of when you have now smaller corridors started, to whom could we speak in terms of getting an idea of the greater picture of what is formatting there in terms of network? Is it this BOWI consortia, or is it the European Union direct? I have no idea where the starting point is. I mean, we are very much pushing in this direction, and that is why we also managed to get into one of those EDIHs. But what is the next step there? But what could be the next step?
Very hard to answer, but there is actually one I could share. I just take a look at the web page about European Digital Innovation Hub. So this is a Commission web page, yes. And there is this DTA. The EDI network will be supported by the Digital Transformation Accelerator, DTA. But I don't actually know this, what is happening now with the DTA. But that is something that is supposed to support the EDIs.
Okay.
But to my understanding, they are still also work in progress.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe sending, for example, questions to me. I can forward them to the BOWI project partners, and they have in BOWI project we have a straight discussion with the Commission also, because Maurits Putter, who is from TNO, he is very much in the circles, I must say.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
By the way, I made to the Miro board, I made a brief I can share this also. Maybe we can take a look at that. So just a very quick kind of voting. If you put like a note here where you think you are, you can select, you can, if you want to, you can write your name here in the tag, but it's not so important. Just put where do you think you will have, what level collaboration you have at the moment. It's interesting to see if there are any IC4 and IC5s. You may just drag one of these. Can you all see this where I have put this?
I make a question?
Sure.
Yes.
Because I'm not I'm not sure, but in fact, I'm thinking that we could have or we could be in different types of corridors and at different levels or not.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that was the message, that it depends on what you want to get from that collaboration.
Because we can have collaborations with some DIHs, and we also can have other corridors with different or more intensive collaborations. I think so. What you want that we put here? At what levels we are working?
Yes, at what levels you are collaborating with other.
So we can be on different levels at the same time.
Yes, you can be. You can put several.
Okay, thank you.
Shall we, Päivi, wait some minutes, or how do you want to proceed?
Maybe if we give like 5 minutes to everybody to put the notes. This is nothing compulsory. So if you don't want to do it, it's not bad thing. But just to make you think where you are.
Or maybe not take give an example of some type of interregional cooperation, and what level do you think that cooperation is at?
Päivi, I have lost the access to Miro, so could you put that?
Yes, I will share it again.
And if you can share the definition of those levels still.
Yeah, I will put them. Here is I think you see this 5 levels of corridors.
We still see the Miro.
Miro still, just a moment. Sorry.
Still the Miro.
Here is the Miro.
This, yes. Maybe you can say that the levels of because we are still seeing the Miro. Maybe you can
okay.
repeat the levels.
Okay. So IC1 is casual, ad hoc, opportunistic, informal, individual contacts, sharing knowledge. IC2 is responsive with limited preparation to respond. It's reactive, informal. It's usually part of EU project. IC3 is structural, there are basic formalized structures, anticipatory capacity, proactive industry or research projects, and limited corridor activities. IC4 is managed. It is institutionalized, aligned strategies within regions, active scouting, EU value chains, and proactive corridor activities. And IC5 is synchronized. It has structural participation of regional stakeholders, joint funding, synchronized R&D, and joint strategy and actions. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, there is RoboHouse Netherlands has identified IC level 5.
Yeah, hi, Paivi, it's Dennis from RoboHouse. Are you agree with this?
No.
Why not?
I don't think DI² network is yet there. It might be, I would say it is maybe somewhere from IC3 going to IC4, but we still don't have our regional partners committed in all the regions.
Yeah, but the subject here is not DIH² network, but RoboHouse.
Yeah, RoboHouse, yes, yes, of course. Then if, but with whom you have this, can you say?
We also work with TNO.
Yep. Okay.
And with other regional stakeholders like funds and competence centers for manufacturing, for example, and a few others.
Yeah. Okay. With those you have these connections. That's great to hear.
Should we go through this example? Or...
Yeah, maybe we can.
One by one.
Yeah, maybe one by one. Shall we start with František from NCR?
Yes, I'm here, but what you would like to listen to?
Tell with a few words about your collaboration that you were thinking here.
Yes, I think according to the definitions, we are trying to find European projects that are suitable for our professionals. And moreover, we are actively looking for opportunities in the industry. So that's why I decided to put us in this chain.
Yes. And then who is the next in line? Can you, Magnus, say, I lost that page already.
But can we go just from, that was the NRC, then we have DIHP who has put this tag here, DIHP.
DIHP, Digital Innovation Hub Piemonte.
Okay. Please tell us about your case.
We are, in my opinion, between IC2 and IC3. We collaboration with our competence center team. We also collaborative in another. We are in the Akka Square and in Change to Twin. So it's quite structural because always is the company or us go to the company for propose some activities, but in my opinion is we could improve a lot the formalization of this situation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you to you.
Maybe should we go forward, or do you have?
Yeah, let's go forward. CCIPB.
Hello, this is Gergely Császár from Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Pécs-Baranya from Hungary. And the other acronym I wrote on this little note is Southwest Hungarian Engineering Cluster. So our chamber is not a typical DIH, but we are managing several clusters, namely 3. And this cluster, the Southwest Hungarian Engineering Cluster, has the most cooperation agreements with others, and some are realized within joint projects as well. And I see that my colleague wrote so this one here, which I dragged here. So these are other projects we run. If she wants to talk about it, then please do, Esther or Sandra.
Yes, hi. It was me. So there's nothing much I can add. So we are members of the Enterprise Europe Network. We work on Better Factory, on the project MLAT, Digital Coach, Be Digital, and Indusec. So we have formalized contacts and works, and we seek now the connection to the newly established European digital innovation hubs. Thanks.
Yeah, nice to hear. Then Prodetect. Manuela.
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe we cover more levels than the ones that I put here, because I'm thinking, for example, in the network that we form with the companies that participate in the first open call of the DIH Square project. We work with them closely and we make a kind of corridor, maybe probably at the level 1. Then we also have the network that we are working with other digital innovation hubs in the DIH Square project. We are also working in the Boeing project with a specific, let's say, group with a digital innovation hub from Romania, and we are working on give some service to some companies of this digital innovation hub. So it will be a different or a more specific corridor too. And we also work with other entities in European and Portuguese level clusters and other entities too. But I think for this, these two levels 3 and 2 could be the more representative now.
Good. Thanks. Then about Super IoT, we heard the presentation, but would you, Pirjo, like to add something here?
I would evaluate us being in level 3 since we are proactively initiating industry and making industry research project. However, I would say that the corridor activities there we might be more active and make those activities more systematically.
Mm. Yes. Then we have Linz, Center of Mechatronics.
Yes, thank you. This is Johan. I've put us on IC4 because we are already since years an active transfer center of knowledge. So we are, located between academia and industry. So what we are doing, even before DIH and EDIH came up, was to take the knowledge that is built up at the academic level and transfer this actively into industry. So exactly what is the target of the DIH platforms. And through that, this part is separately funded outside of the European Union. So there are a lot of research projects running and transfer projects running. So it is already a huge network of companies we are providing and we are supporting with our knowledge. And on top of that, it is good to multiply this even onto the European level on the EU projects. And we're already participating in several projects that were presented today, like Change the Twin or EU Hubs for Data or DIH Squared. And but all of the people that are on this call are participating a lot of EU calls. But it is, I would say it is already structured. We have dedicated people that are, taking care of those kind of transfers, and also the looking at connections to other EU projects is formalized already. So that is why I have put us on ICT level 4, and the area is that we for sure would like to move on and accelerate and speed up there.
Sounds good. And that bringing up the thing that you have specialized people in this, this is one kind of phenomena that gives this as a structural issue.
You need to have somebody that knows that it is his task to take care of this transfer. Otherwise, it is just hanging in the air and it's just...
Yeah, it's not structural. Yeah, that's right. Then we still have a case Oulu, Gothenburg.
That was me putting it. This was the case that I talked about earlier.
Yeah, it was.
I put it on level 4 because from what I understand, there is this kind of a regional cluster organization in Oulu that is managing activities in the region. They are starting planning projects with several companies involved in national projects and inter company projects in the region. But at the same time, they cooperate with in my understanding, with the cluster organization in Gothenburg in Sweden that in a similar way coordinates activities in Sweden, and then between the regions they have started then activities, I think on a regional level, but also between companies, so that they have made this kind of matchmaking between companies to start new activities. So this was my case.
Yeah. Okay. Does anybody want to add anything?
We have the level 5, or was it
Yeah, we have Robo House.
Okay.
Dennis,
okay.
would you like to add?
Not really. I already mentioned that we collaborate with our regional stakeholders, with funds, with centers around industry, like manufacturing, and with research institutes. We're closely affiliated with the Delft University of Technology and with TNO, which is for applied sciences. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I think that was my part.
Okay, thank you, Päivi, and thank you all for participating in this exercise. I think that was a very interesting discussion. We have now actually come to the last point in this workshop, and that is wrapping up the session. We're a little bit ahead of schedule, but that's good. I hope you have heard something interesting and useful during this workshop today, and the main point, I think, here in business development for DIH is that doing business planning makes it easier to apply for funding. It makes it easier to explain when you are, for instance, looking for collaboration, what you are focusing on, and if the other partner also have in a similar way prepared themselves, then it's easier to find partners for collaboration. And I hope this workshop have given you some thoughts on how business planning can be done and how it can be used, and also some thoughts on the funding for the DIHs, both the public side and private side, how that can be utilized in let's say more like maybe mainly in, let's say, startup activities, but also maybe this kind of funding for research organizations that Pekka talked about are in the future potential also for DIH networks. So I think this is what we have to present today. The workshop has been recorded, and we will put the recording on both, I think, Better Factory and DIH Square project place, so you can find this information later on. So this is all from our side, I think, today.